Fix a 2-hole button on garment. A button is one of the mostly used fasteners for opening and closing garments. Buttons are also used to decorate and enhance the look of garments. One type of button that is usually found in shirts is the flat button with holes in it. As buttons have become an essential part of garments these days, it is recommended that you should know how these are fixed. Objective: at the end of this class, you'll be able to fix a 2-hole button on a garment. Let us first familiarize with the tools and materials that you would need to fix a button with 2 holes on a sample piece of fabric. You would need a button with 2 holes, thread, needle, thimble, a piece of fabric, and a pair of small scissors. Now let's watch how to fix a button with 2 holes on a sample piece of fabric. Step 1. Thread the needle. Thread the needle and pull the thread halfway through. So that the 2 ends meet. Then tie a knot at the end of the double thread. Please note, we are using a thread of contrasting colour for demonstration purposes alone. In a real-life situation, you must select a thread that matches the colour of the button and the garment. Step 2. Sew through the fabric. Enter the needle through the front of the fabric at the position where you want to fix a button. You can also enter the needle from the back. However, you will then have the knotted thread visible on the inside of the garment. Go through all layers to give it a secure base. Then sew back up through the fabric. Step 3. Position the button and fix it. Place the button through the point of the needle. Go up through the button and back down through the opposite hole. And through the back of the fabric. Don't pull the thread tightly. Instead, leave a gap between the button and the fabric to create a shank later on. The gap between the button and the fabric on which the button is sewn needs to be kept big if the fabric is thick. Only then will it be able to accommodate the other fabric layer with the buttonhole. If the gap is too small for the fabric, it will create puckers. Again, enter the needle from behind, through the fabric, through the one buttonhole, and back down through the other buttonhole and in the fabric. Repeat once again the loop through the fabric and the button. Step 4. Create a shank. After your 3rd round, pass the needle from the back of the cloth to the front again, but this time don't go through the button. Instead, wrap the thread around the loose threads in the gap. Like this, you will create a shank. The shank is like a trunk that holds the button up. Step 5. Finish fixing the button. Then pull the needle through the shank 2 times and back through the fabric. Make a couple of stitches through the existing stitches on the back. This creates a strong anchor. With the last stitch, create a loop and pull the needle through that loop. Now snip the end of the thread so you don't have anything hanging, and that's basically how you sew on a button. With that, we come to the end of this class. Let's recall what we have learnt. You learned how to fix a button with 2 holes. Let's review its basic steps. Step 1. Thread the needle. Step 2. Sew through the fabric. Step 3. Position the button and fix it. Step 4. Create a shank. Step 5. Finish fixing the button. You have now learned how to fix a button with 2 holes. Take our next class to learn how to fix a button with 4 holes.